solemn memorial for Sergeant Kenneth Salas. Family, friends, and the community turn out to honor the life of the Spokane sergeant killed in the line of duty.
Temperatures keep climbing as sunshine dominates the forecast.
Spokane schools have been phone-free for 1 year. How it's been and what Cheney Schools is now trying out. Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 5 tonight. I'm Mark Hanrahan. Law enforcement and friends from across the region in Spokane today to honor the life of Spokane County Sheriff Sergeant Ken Salas. He died back on August 9th after he was hit by a motorcyclist while helping to clear a traffic hazard on I-90. KREM 2 Shannon Mowdy was inside today's memorial service. Shannon?
Well, Spokane's convention center was filled with Sergeant Salas's brothers and sisters in law enforcement and in the military. Spokane County added a fifth name to a somber list, those who have died in the line of duty.
These streamers represent the spirit of each of our fallen officers and signify that while they may be gone, they will never be forgotten.
The name Sergeant Ken Salas added to the sheriff's office flag during his memorial Wednesday. Salas, a military veteran, served more than 30 years with Spokane County.
Ken stood at night, making sure that we kept our community safe. My brothers and sisters in this audience, we stand to keep our community safe.
Salas discovered his desire to serve in an unusual way when he was pulled over for speeding as a teen.
Spokane City Police motor officer has stopped them for doing 47 and a 30. True to Kim's nature, at the end of the contact, after the motorcycle had made a U-turn, drove the other way, Ken looked to his best friend and said, "That's the job I want."
Longtime friend and retired colleague Deputy Eric Epperson also shared a message from Salas's wife, Asu.
From the moment I first met my husband, he has given me strength.
The two married New Year's Eve 2023. Ken was set to retire in September and travel with Hasu to Florida.
He is genuine, makes me feel safe. Meeting my husband has been the happiest, most beautiful and joyful time of my life.
Co-workers and friends remember him as respectful, caring, and even-tempered, the example of a servant leader in and out of uniform.
We will never forget Ken's legacy.
Governor Bob Ferguson was also in attendance at the sergeant's memorial. Statewide, flags remain at half-staff to honor Sergeant Salas. Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
All right, Shannon, thank you very much. And if you want to help Sergeant Salas's family, the Spokane County Sheriff's Office is accepting donations for his memorial fund. The Sheriff's Office says you can donate at any Canopy Credit Union branch. They are also accepting donations through Venmo with that QR code on the screen right there. That money will help cover memorial expenses, and any leftover money will go to the Salas family. All right, let's switch gears and talk weather on this Wednesday with Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo. With temperatures on the rise across the inland Northwest, Jeremy, looking to be a pretty hot weekend.
Yeah, check it out. We're already back on the warm side of things. 82 degrees. It's pretty much dead on the seasonal norm for the day, but 82 degrees in my book is still hot. And as we head into the weekend, we're getting some 10 degrees warmer than this. 82 here in Spokane, 83 over in Coeur d'Alene, 78 over in Moscow, and how about mid-80s out in central Washington? There's a decent sign that in the coming days, we are going to be hot. Tomorrow morning, though, far from it. We're going to dip back into the mid-50s. Tomorrow morning is likely one of the cooler days we will have. Reason being, we just wind up calming down. Today we don't get as warm as we have been, and we're not going to be as warm as we will be. And then with calm wind and clear skies and a dry atmosphere, all of our heat escapes overnight. So we're back in the mid-50s, pretty widespread. 40s in places like Deer Park, Newport, or Sandpoint. How about St. Mary's as well? It does wind up cooling off. Colville 54, Republic about 51. We cool off, but by tomorrow afternoon, we're back on the hot side of things. How about Colville and Republic back up in the mid and upper 80s? Omak hits 90, 87 in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. And down to our south, we're looking at those temperatures climbing in the mid to upper 80s once again. we turn that corner and then just keep warming. 90 by Friday, 93 on Saturday, maybe even warmer come early next week, and that's all thanks to a ridge of high pressure building in. We're going to talk atmospheric patterns coming up in your full forecast.
All right, sounds good, Jeremy. Thank you very much. Investigators believe Travis Decker is the only suspect in his daughter's killings. The Washington State father of three still on the run nearly 3 months after his daughters were found dead near a campsite outside of Leavenworth. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office says 5-year-old Olivia, 8-year-old Evelyn, and 9-year-old Peyton were found with multiple plastic bags over their heads. DNA samples from the bags and cable ties at the scene match the profile for Decker. Authorities say no other DNA evidence was found at the scene. A mom and her 6-year-old son, who are originally from New Zealand but live in Washington now, spent 3 weeks in U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement custody. Back in July, Sarah Shaw and her son Isaac were coming back from dropping her other 2 kids off in Canada. ICE detained them when they tried to get back in the U.S. They took the mom and son to a privately run detention facility in Texas, where Shaw says they didn't have much privacy.
That was their reason for not releasing him. It was like they didn't want to separate the family. If I wanted to take a shower, he had to come with me. So it was like we were like completely like joined to the hip.
Shaw's attorney says what caused all this? A clerical visa error. Shaw, who has no criminal history, was released with an ankle monitor. Her attorney says they are working to get that removed. Well, if you're near Fairchild Air Force Base tomorrow, don't panic if you see first responders in action. Team Fairchild will conduct an active shooter response drill tomorrow. Personnel and the visitors to the base may see flashing lights and fast-moving vehicles. They might also hear sirens and other loud noises. Officials don't expect the exercise to interrupt services on base like medical appointments. Somebody with the measles was here in Spokane County, so the health department is warning of exposure risks. Someone from Kootenai County who had measles was hospitalized in Spokane. So take a look at your screen. This is a list of all the locations that person was at. If you are at any of those spots last week, you might have been exposed to measles. If that's the case, make sure to check your own and your children's vaccination status. If you have been vaccinated, there is little risk of catching the disease. All right, coming up after the break tonight, KREM 2's Regan Gallo chats with a high schooler about no cell phones in classroom policies and what it could mean for Cheney. And why the southern border wall is getting a remodel. All this coming up after the break.